So what's one of the most annoying things you can hear around your house, especially if you own a pet? Nobody likes it. You don't like it on your hardwood floors. You don't like it tearing up your couches. You don't like it scratching you and leaving marks all over yourself. So today I want to talk to you guys about how to trim your dog nails at home. Now, why do we need to trim our dog's nails? First off, it cuts down on that noise, which, number one, that's one thing I personally hate hearing around my house. It also causes them a lot of pain. Imagine sitting there walking around and you have all this pressure being put back on your toes. It's like if you dig your nails into something, that pressure we feel, they feel it, but they have their whole body weight on those nails. You also run the risk of the nails growing back into the paw pad, which is not only pain but can cause other bacterial issues, and they grow under like this. And it can cause damage to your furniture. It can cause damage to yourself, and that's a big thing for pet owners, is you don't want to have to replace something that your pet destroyed. So what can we do? Well, first off, we can pay someone else to do it. But I mean, vet practices can charge, $10 and up, $20 and up, because you're paying for their time to do this. Grooming practices can start anywhere $20 to $30. I know the places that I've worked in, you didn't get a nail trim for under $20. It also causes a lot of stress on the dogs. Some dogs don't do well with having to go into unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. And that's, if we can not have that unnecessary stress put on our pets, then, we'll have a happier, healthier pet. So then we have to decide what kind of nail trimmer we want to use. We have the regular scissor nail cutters. These are the ones that I prefer. You just slip the nail through. Most of them come with a guard so you know where to stop, and you just click them, and they work like a scissor. You also have the guillotine, which does exactly what it sounds. Instead of chopping off a head, though, you're chopping off a toenail. And then we have grinders. So these can be cordless or with cords, but it's basically like taking a piece of high-powered sandpaper and putting it up against your dog's nails and grinding them down. So like a nail file, just at super speeds. So depending on, what you get more comfortable with will depend on what you decide to use. There are pros and cons that come with everything. For example, the guillotine, if they jerk, their nail is stuck in there. So you really have no way to get away with it. Pro of the Dremel is if you were to accidentally hit the quick, it at least doesn't bleed as much as anything else because you're not taking off as much of it. It's, kind of giving it a slight abrasion. And then, with both of these, you have the risk of cutting way too far back, and then you have to deal with the blood. So for the purposes of this talk and how to trim your dog's nails, we're going to focus on using the scissors. These are probably the easier ones to come by, the easier ones to find, and they're probably the easiest ones for you to use. So we want to get to a point where we are not fearful and we are not having to wrestle our dogs to the ground, but where we can have them sit there and just kind of, take it is a good word. So, when they're young, we definitely want to play with their paws. While we're playing with their paws, we want to give them some sort of treat. Using my dog as an example, when I play with his paws, he gets spray cheese. The only time he gets spray cheese is if his paws are being messed with. So when I pull out a can of spray cheese, he automatically walks up to me and throws a paw out. And so if our dog is fearful, we need to have something positive to associate with playing with their paws so they know that, we're not doing anything bad to them. So when you're messing with their paws, you give them the treat. When you stop, the treat stops. And that way the treat becomes associated with the paws. You don't get this until I do what I need to do. So then we want to progress to tapping the paws with the nail clippers. You don't want to do anything over the top or just play with it. Just, put the nail clippers out there, tap the nail lightly. And then we can go to actually clipping. And we can, for me it's a two-person thing. One person gives the treats while I do the paws. That way if they pull their paw away, I can have the treat stop. And then a really good resource is Dr. Sophia Yin. It's a just a little short video on how you can work with your dog to become more fear-free with the nail trims to make it easier on everybody around you and yourself. I think it's like a short 4-minute video. So then we want to talk about how to clip. So we're using the scissors, and our goal is to get it from the long, sharp talons to something that's nice and short and manageable, quiet around the house. One thing we need to know is that within the nail, we have a quick. The quick is the blood supply to the nail. We don't want to hit that. You will have blood, and it's not a lot of fun. However, if you do hit it, there are ways to make it stop and ways to take care of your pet. So first we need to identify the quick. Usually in light colored nails, you can see, you'll see like a little pinkish triangle in there. And we want to clip at a 45-degree angle just before the quick. Now, depending on how comfortable you are, will depend on how close to that you clip. But if you're just beginning, just take off the sharp points. It's somewhere to start. And just, every few days, keep trimming a little bit more off. And because the more we trim off, the more pressure it puts on that quick, and the more that quick recedes to where we get our nice short nail. So if we do clip the quick, we can use Stypic powder. It basically just helps clot and dry the blood on there, and it helps just speed up the clotting process. And I understand, not everybody keeps this in their house. So another alternative that you can use is you can use flour. I would assume everybody has flour in their house, but just something like that can help the blood clot and stay on the nail. And then, like I said, we want to make sure we're cutting at a 45-degree angle, not cutting too far. But once you do it, the thing is to keep up with it. If you can't just, do it 1 month and then have absolutely nothing to do with your dog's paws and then start up the next month and automatically go in for a nail trim. This becomes a lifelong process to keep it going. So, hope everything we've talked about today can help make everyone, more confident in trimming their dog's nails at home. Thank you.
I've used cornstarch before too.
It's all I had.